TIFU by walking out of the bathroom naked in front of my 62-year-old uncle. Fuck up happened a few weeks ago. On that accused day, it was just me and my uncle home alone. To explain the setting a bit, my house is pretty small. From my room, you can see the other end of the house, which is the living room. I also have a bathroom in my room, situated at the corner where someone sitting at a sofa in the living room can have a clear view of the person walking in and out of the bathroom. Distance between bathroom and living room is about 15 feet. Now, whenever I take a bath, I close my bedroom door for privacy, also because I hate changing clothes in the bathroom. I go to the bathroom, take my clothes off, opening the tap. And no water. This particular day, we were having some water issues, and we're using a backup water system that requires turning a water motor on. I put my clothes back on to activate the motor, walking by my uncle watching cricket on the sofa in the living room. After the motor is successfully turned on, I walk back to my room and do my business. This is where the fuck up happens. I had only put on my underwear but no bra, towel turban on my head, thinking I'll dress in my room like I always do. Then I open the bathroom door. As I'm opening the door, in the process of taking one step out, I'm thinking, hey, the TV sounds a little too loud. But it was the kind of thought where you are already in the process of doing something, so you can't really stop even if something doesn't feel right because everything happens in a second. I take one step out, realize I left my bedroom door open when I left the bathroom to turn the motor on. For one harrowing second, I walk out of bathroom, boobs out, with my uncle sitting on the abominable sofa in the living room, getting a full Ultra HD view of my tits in all their mighty glory, and of course, my favorite granny panties shining saggy and proud. I instantly jump backwards into bathroom, leaning against the bathroom door, heart beating out of my chest. The reality of the blunder I had just committed settled into my conscience. I should have at least used some sort of covering before walking out. Maybe wrap a towel around myself. Anything. But I try to calm myself down. Hey, you were only out for a fraction of a second, then you jumped back. And fortunately, I have very shitty eyesight and can barely see without my glasses. I'm not sure if my uncle saw me, considering how much he loves cricket. So if I didn't see him, he definitely didn't see me. Right? But as I'm thinking my optimistic thoughts, still leaning against the bathroom door, trying to catch my breath, I hear my bedroom door close softly.
TIFU by accidentally calling my MIL a Nazi. First, a little context. In my 24F homeland, the presidential run just ended. The left-wing candidate won by a very small advantage over the most right-wing one. Because of the split in the population, there are protests happening, and on the most radical areas, we will call it State X, there were even Nazi salutes. Now the part where I fucked up. I am a very open person on my political positioning. I always posted on my IG stories about it, and it never was an issue. After this candidate won, I kept expressing how happy I was, since I supported him. Since the protests started, I only posted one story about it. The story said State X really thinks it represents the whole country, but then again, who do you think the most Nazi state would support? Comical. It was not long after my husband, 28M, got a message from Mail that lives on State X, saying I was being unbearable with those IG story posts and their despise over me was growing more and more. That didn't affect me. We have a rule that each spouse takes care of their own parents. It was until my mother messaged me. Mail went to my mom's chat and said I was being offensive towards them by calling them a Nazi, repeated everything she said to my husband and that we should go back to our country to suffer since we supported the elected president so much. We are currently living abroad because of our jobs. I saw red. I messaged Mail directly and long story short, I shamed her for not talking to me, but to everyone around me, said she should check herself BC I was not talking about her and sent so many links to what I was talking about on the IG story. That went straight over her head. As soon as she realized she was wrong, she deviated the subject and I couldn't argue anymore. It was like talking to a wall. It's important to say my partner was defending me all this time. I just lost it because MIL went to my mom directly and I couldn't keep it together anymore. Today my partner came up to me expressing he was very sad about the situation with his mom. Although he knows it wasn't my intention, he mentioned very kindly it still could appear to his parents like it was directed to them, even though it wasn't.
The funny dine and dasher. Now our restaurant doesn't have private security. We have a mall cop kind of guy whom patrols the block and protects multiple businesses. So on my break I spy a guy giving the evil look around. I myself figuring he's gonna dine and dash. Anyone who works a restaurant knows this kind thing is tried regularly. I notify my chef and the staff. They tell the front house staff. The guy leaves something in the booklet and I'm watching this guy walking real fast from his table. When you pay normally you either hand it to our waitress or pay at the front, near the exit. Our wait staff person checks the booklet, not even enough. I quizzed the chef later, she heard that the guy only left a few ones. The wait staff person signals someone. The dasher already has a good head start as he's switching to a sprint. Remember how I said the guard was patrolling regularly? Our manager calls out to stop that man. And the dasher turns his head momentarily and walks straight into the guard's wide open arms like he was getting a bear hug.
TIFU by getting way too drunk and being intimate with my grandfather. Firstly, let me clarify that this did not happen today, but yesterday night. I feel so ashamed and I don't know what I'm supposed to do as of writing this. I also want to say that English isn't my first language, so I'm sorry if the grammar isn't perfect. I, 21F, and my extended family had a family reunion yesterday because we hadn't seen each other in a long while. I was traveling with my mom, 48, and stepbrother, 14, to meet up with my dad and his father at his apartment. Before I go on any further, I should mention that my dad, 44, isn't my biological father, and his dad, my grandpa, is quite young, 59. My biological father left me when I was very little, and I have no contact with my family on his side. So anyways, everything was going smoothly that evening. We were having a few drinks and laughs, when my mom suddenly felt unwell and had to go lay down. As this was kinda late in the evening, my dad decided to go with her. At this point, there was only me and my grandpa left at the dinner table. My brother had to go to bed early because he had early football practice in the morning. I don't know who started it, but I know both me and him had too much to drink, and he started talking about his youth and how he used to try to pick up girls at the bar. I don't know why, maybe because I was wasted or something, or the fact that we were sitting in a very dimly lit room, but he started to look more attractive, especially when he was talking about his youthful days. As I mentioned earlier, I don't know if I made the first move, but I do remember us sneaking to his bedroom giggling and us making out in his bed, and not so much after that. When I woke up I was alone and this feeling of sudden remorse and guilt hit me. It all felt like a horrible fever dream. I was afraid what would happen if my parents found out. TIFU by getting way too drunk and being intimate with my grandfather. I found out a couple of hours ago that my grandpa had told my parents that I had fallen asleep in his bed in my drunken slumber yesterday, so he let me sleep in his bed, and he had slept on the couch. The plan was originally for me to sleep on the couch. I do not know what I will do if anyone finds out about this. This is obviously a throwaway account and no one in my family is on Reddit as far as I know. This is by far the worst thing I have ever done, and it probably could ruin our family. I'm writing this at home and it's gonna be really awkward in any future visits to my grandpa.